Okay, let's get started. Once again, welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature, your Switzerland adventure, what you need to know. Presented by Nat Hab Expedition Leader Andrea Serena and Head of Field Staff Renata Haas. Thank you both for being here today. Renata, how about I'll turn it over to you?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Colby. It is wonderful to be giving a webinar on one of my favorite places to go, Switzerland. And I am so excited to be taking this time with Andrea to talk about our trip specifically and what it is like. So again, my name is Renata. I'm head of our field staff, and I also oversee our COVID protocols. So today we're going to be diving into all things Switzerland, but I will also give everyone on this call a little bit of background information on how our protocols were developed. But first and foremost, I'd love to take a minute and introduce Andrea. Andrea, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Renata. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here again, and welcome to our virtual trip to Swiss. My name is Andrea, and I'm a guide since 2016. I'm with the Nat Hab team since 2019, and together we go to Switzerland. I work mostly in Italy, being a guide for the Dolomites National Park, and I also teach environmental education at school.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. We look forward to hearing more about this trip from your perspective. But first and foremost, I want to take some time and talk to everyone on this webinar about the protocols that Nat Hab has developed for traveling during this time of COVID. And I say that because we have been traveling over the past year, and we've developed these protocols that has been an incredible amount of work. So just to give you a bit of background, we've been traveling since last July in Yellowstone, Costa Rica, the Galapagos, Botswana, Kenya, Tanzania, all over our national parks, and we're excited to be starting in Switzerland for this upcoming season. And we've taken a lot of time. There's a team actually that's involved in developing our COVID protocols. We base our protocols off of the CDC and WHO guidelines. And throughout the process of developing these protocols, we have also worked with other companies to exchange best practices for those that operate in the outdoor industry and adventure travel sectors. We put in place a process for vetting all of our partners and their COVID protocols. So this means we've vetted every single restaurant, transportation company, hotel, any activity partner that we might have in the field, to make sure that they are meeting or exceeding our standards for their protocols. And we also make sure that we are constantly gauging the global situation and whether we are able to operate and mitigate that risk in the region. So obviously there is a new variant that is going around quite rapidly now, and we need to make sure that the COVID protocols that we have in place wherever we're operating mitigate against that risk. So another part of that is making sure that all of our guests have what they need to help with them taking action to mitigate their own risk, even when they leave their house. So if you're traveling with us, when you get your pre-departure briefing in your itinerary, you also get 2 KN95 masks, hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, a buff, and instruction how to best mitigate your safety while you are traveling to locations. So it's very important that you are taking those steps independently as well, not just once you arrive and on day one, but as soon as you leave your house. And we've taken some big overarching steps when it comes to what we are requiring for COVID. And that is that starting on July 1st, we're actually requiring every individual that is to be vaccinated on our trips. So starting August 1st, that will be all individuals 12 and up. that are going on our trips need to be fully vaccinated. And fully vaccinated is your shot, and then plus 2 weeks after that. After that additional 2 weeks is that fully vaccinated date. And what that does is that helps us mitigate that risk of spreading COVID, and it enhances the safety of our guests, our field staff, and the communities that we go to. So that is why that is a requirement. Now, for Switzerland, it's not a requirement to be tested before you arrive in Switzerland. If you are wanting to do so, that is definitely a step you can take if you would like. So that is the large overarching background on how we've created our protocols. And we still, even though we are requiring vaccinations, we do also operate on what's called a combination intervention approach. And that is the way of developing protocols where we're not just looking at one control, we're looking at multiple ways of mitigation. So we're really reducing that risk. So when you're on, or if you're traveling with us to Switzerland, you can expect that there will be taking part in respiratory hygiene. So wearing a mask, we're all quite used to this, and we're always abiding by sort of the stricter local regulations. So in America right now, it is the case that if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask in most places. But internationally, it's not everyone is in the same, not every country is at the same level of vaccination rates, and they have different rules and regulations. So it's very important that we abide by those local rules and regulations. So on this Switzerland trip, you can anticipate that you're wearing masks whenever you're in public transportation. So on our Glacier Express train, if you're indoors at a visitor center, or if you are not able to keep more of a 6 feet of distance outside. But the benefit of Nat Hab groups is we're incredibly small groups, so it's very easy to do that. So again, the first control is respiratory hygiene. The second control is hand sanitation. So again, I noted that when you leave your house, you will have individual hand sanitizers from us, and we also provide ample opportunity during the trip for you to wash your hands. We'll have additional hand sanitizer, and we make sure we make space for that during the trip. Next is enhanced sanitation. Again, we're vetting all of our partners in the field, but if there's any shared resources that we're utilizing during the trip, we make sure that those are sanitized appropriately. And then finally is physical distancing. And I've noted previously that we do have very small groups. That's a huge benefit of being on a Nat Hab trip, is we're just naturally physically distanced, A, because we have small groups, B, because we choose to go to locations that allow for us to have the space to experience those wild places. So that is the overarching briefing of our combination intervention approach. The one thing that I do also want to note is that when coming back into the US, right now it is required that you do show a negative COVID-19 test before you return. And that is something that we will organize for the group. So it's not something that you have to think about organizing, how you're going to get to your testing location, anything like that. Nat Hab will simply organize that. You'll take your test at an appropriate time before heading back to the US, and that will be taken care of for you. So that is the basic overarching information that I wanted to give everyone on this call about our COVID-19 protocols. And with that being said, I want to take it back to Andrea to talk about our Switzerland itinerary and everything that it is about. So Andrea, first and foremost, this is as we can see on this map, we cover a lot of Switzerland, but would you mind taking a second and just telling us a little bit about what makes Switzerland as a country and as a destination so special?
Yes, well, the first thing you will notice is the friendliness of the Swiss people. They are known to love visitors and the outdoor, just like us. So They are very friendly, very polite, and they respect everyone's privacy, which is important. And of course, they love to be punctual. What makes Switzerland special is its mix of natural environments and ecosystems, mainly. So from the Alps to the Mediterranean Lake Geneva, then the mix of culture, being Swiss, a melting pot of ethnicities and languages, so German, Italian, French, and Romansh dialect, and of course a mix also of cuisine, ranging from traditional to international dishes. So a nice mix of everything Swiss.
Thanks, Andrea. When all of those things are what I recognize is incredibly special when I was there myself, and I'm so happy that we are running trips to this destination. So the next thing that we wanted to take some time and talk about is I like to do these webinars as if I am traveling myself to the destination. In this case, it's Switzerland. So before I get in the taxi, go to the airport, jump on the plane, I need to actually pack for the itinerary that I'm going on. And I think that Switzerland has so much to offer, as you were talking about. It's incredibly diverse in its landscapes, and that does make it a little bit more difficult to pack. So can you tell us a little bit about what we might want to definitely make sure that we include in our packing list when we are headed to Switzerland?
Yeah, sure. First of all, let's talk about the weather. We are going to be mostly on alpine environments, right? So nowhere the weather is more changeable than in the mountains, is unpredictable. So while the sun is shining in one valley, it might be raining on the other one. In summer, we can face very hot day, while it can freeze on a high mountain top. So it's important to be ready for all the temperatures and situation. What's the temperature? August is the warmest month of the year, together with the first week of September. But you know, during the day at 5,000 feet, we will find a temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit and around 50 at nighttime. But of course, in special places like, for example, Dornegrat, where we will sleep at 10,000 feet, to be out at night to see the star means to probably face 40 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So, but that's a special night, and the only one with that kind of temperature. So what to bring? Important are for sure a good rain and windproof jacket with a nice hood. Then, you know, tea sweaters, as we can see here, hiking long pants, fleece down jacket, but also sunglasses. I in general recommend technical, light but warm clothes in general. And as you can see here, also hats, trekking poles, and yeah, these are the must to go up there. Yeah. Try to avoid heavy clothing. So once again, choose light technical stuff that also help you with the space. Very, very, very important type of shoes, right? So try to come with hiking boots, much better than hiking shoes, because you know, they protect much better our ankles. And of course, boots need to be broken already, right?
Absolutely. I've definitely made the mistake of going on hiking trips with barely used boots and paying the price for it.
I can feel the
Excellent. So we want to layer up. Fantastic. Bring our hiking poles, a day pack. Fantastic. So I've got my bag. It's ready to go. I am packed. The next thing is I'm getting on my plane and I am going to Switzerland, which luckily is not as long as a flight to some of the other destinations that we go to, which is wonderful. However, getting to the airport and trying to get my way to the hotel is usually the most, for me, overwhelming thing, more so than anything else I'm doing on the trip. So can you tell me a little bit about what that arrival experience feels like for a Nat Hab guest?
Yes, well, in Zurich International Airport, you will have a first taste of the Swiss efficiency. You will have all the necessary services you need, and same thing for the Geneva airport for the way back. So they are beautiful airports, very busy, but don't worry because because all the signs are easy to read, and you will have no problems at all in Zurich and Geneva for sure.
Fantastic. So once we arrive, it sounds like immigration is quite easy. Signs are in English. I'm always wondering whether I should get cash out before I leave the airport. I know that ATMs are very readily available, but do you suggest exchanging money before leaving?
Yes, it's always good to change some money. You can change money at the airport when you arrive, and of course, then you can change money during all the trip, take money from the ATMs. Nat Hab pays for most things, but you will want some US dollar for extras, for gratuities, and stuff like that in general.
Fantastic. And Nat Hab does cover the majority of things on these trips. For gratuities for the expedition leader is one thing Nat Hab does not cover. It's always good to tip with US dollars. And then once you've got your money, you've got your bags, you exit, immigration, then you are met by a Nat Hab representative. Usually they've got a slick looking vest or shirt on, and then they'll also have a big sign with the natural habitat logo and your name on it. So very, very easy to see the natural habitat representative that's gonna pick you up from the airport and take you to your first night's accommodation. So Andrea, we've landed in the US, or excuse me, we've landed in Switzerland, and now we are ready to sort of start experiencing this trip. As we saw on the map before, we're going all over this wonderful country. And Nat Hab sort of known for different means and modes of transportation wherever we go. So can you tell me a little bit about the types of transportation that we're gonna experience on this trip and what makes them so special?
Yeah, sure. We will use various transportation, moving especially with very comfortable private buses like the one you see here. Then also trains, including the fantastic Glacier Express, a few cable cars, some electric taxis, and even a paddle steamer boat.
Wonderful. And I will say I've been on a lot of these gondolas. I've been on the Glacier Express, and it is one of, I mean, the Glacier Express is one of the most beautiful train rides I've ever been on, which is absolutely fantastic. And I should note again with our small group trips that it is the case that everyone does get a window seat when they are transferring in our vehicles. So we really do want to make sure that everyone is spaced out, that you have the ability to have unobstructed views to what we are passing by, because obviously Switzerland is such an incredibly gorgeous place to be. So one of the other things that Switzerland is known for is stunning accommodations. And Nat Hab trip is no different. But Andrea, will you tell me a little bit about what we can expect when we are traveling to Switzerland and the hotels on those trips, on this trip, excuse me?
Yes, we will stay in very nice hotels in general, with comfortable rooms, many services, like very good restaurants with a lot of different food choices, hotels with a spa, the swimming pool, solarium, and so on. But yeah, all the hotels we will stay in had something special, with, for example, very incredible views.
Absolutely. And can you tell me a little bit about this hotel that we'll be staying at? Is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, well, this is not just staying a night in an hotel. This is a true experience. The building there is the Gornergrat Observatory and Resort. We will stay there a fantastic night. The picture on the right is just one of the view you can have from your room. And yeah, that's 10,000 feet. So you can imagine with the nice weather, what kind of view you can have during the day, but especially during the night.
And is an absolutely stunning location. And we are in so many absolutely beautiful hotels. And really, I think everyone has just, I mean, breathless, breathtaking views that you can see out of. And they also have phenomenal restaurants, which, speaking of transportation or accommodation, the food of Switzerland is something that I know when I come back from what last time I came back, everyone was asking me about what did I eat, especially since I'm a vegetarian. So I can be a little bit more picky than the average person. But can you tell me a little bit about what the food is like in Switzerland and if you can accommodate other dietary restrictions?
Yeah, well, food, ingredients, and the way to prepare it in Switzerland changes all over the country. Traditional Swiss meals are rich in breads, vegetables, a lot, meat, Swiss cheeses, of course, and also delicious chocolates and desserts. So, of course, no problem at all for those who have dietary restriction or allergies. It's gonna be super.
Fantastic. And if anyone is traveling with us and does have a dietary restriction or allergy that they haven't told us about, please make sure to fill out your forms and let us know so that we can make sure well in advance that we have the appropriate food and meals ready for you. So now I want to go into sort of the meat of what we're here for, and that is the activities that we're going to be doing on this trip. Switzerland, again, has so much to do, and when I was there mostly for hiking. So can you, and I know that's something we are going to be doing on this trip. So can you tell me a little bit about what those hikes are like, how long they are, what people can expect in regards to how challenging they might be?
Yes, well, this is in general a walking trip. We can join even a couple of hikes per day. But remember, we are focusing there on enjoying the biodiversity, the environments, the sceneries. So never making super hard hikes. We usually walk, let's say, a total of 5-6 miles a day in general on mixed terrain, but never dangerous. The hikes will never be too demanding. As we said, we focus on enjoying sceneries and places. These are not the Olympics for sure. Having said that, we go to the Alps, so an acceptable physical condition is a must. Yeah, this is the basic, I would say. Yeah.
Fantastic. And can you tell me about a little bit about the hike that we're looking at right now? It looks like we're on is that a snowfield that we're on or a glacier? What is this experience like?
A nice day, that one. Yeah, there you can see our guest as we enjoy some very beautiful trail, such as the one that will bring us to a very lovely place where we're gonna have lunch. This place is a beautiful glacier called Glacier 3000. We will walk on that glacier, but it's super safe. We're gonna use the snow bus road, let's say. So it's never icy, it's super safe, and very important, we are not going to create any problem to the environment there. The place, that giant rock is called the Diablare Rock, and is very, very interesting to go there because we will have the first chance in Switzerland to spot the Mont Blanc from there, which is the highest in Europe.
Fantastic. Mont Blanc is absolutely gorgeous. So we've got glacier hikes. We've also got these beautiful valleys for hiking on as well. And what I love about this is it is so easy, again, to spread out and not see that many people that are around you. So it is, again, a nice casual, not incredibly steep terrain, so that we aren't hiking over massive boulders, but again, it is at a higher altitude, and it is, as Andrea noted, more of a walking tour. So it is important to be feeling up and ready to be walking each day. Andrea, it looks like you might be freezing a little bit. Are you still there? We might have lost him for a second.
Yeah, I'm here with you. Probably I have a little bit of trouble with the connection. I tried to switch off the webcam, and let's see if at least the sound can work better.
You're back. Well, perfect.
I'm back. Okay.
Back and good. Perfect. Yeah, so I was just talking about this hike and how we are able to hike in all sorts of terrains. And it looks like, as you were talking about before, the weather differences, it's important to layer up. If it is, these are actually, this photo was taken a little bit earlier in our June departures. So our, in June, every once in a while, you could get some snow, but in our later August, September departures, that has melted at that point. So we've talked about hikes, and then Switzerland is known for amazingly stunning viewpoints. Can you tell me a little bit about what this experience is like?
Yeah, well, another very interesting experience. That's the Schildhorn with its famous Piz Gloria restaurant. Up there, we will enjoy special breakfast while the building is rotating 360 degrees. So you will enjoy the view while drinking your coffee. It's also 007 Museum. One of the movies was made there. And if you like the saga, you will love the place even more. Incredible view in general on the Alps, but also the Swiss pre-Alps. So very special place. Very nice, I liked.
Absolutely stunning. I love the fact that the restaurant is rotating and you can get a little bit of your Bond fix in if you're into James Bond. Now, one of the things you might experience is hiking on some bridges. Can you tell me a little bit about where this is? Excuse me.
Yes, this is next to the glacier we saw before. So Glacier 3000, of course, we are at 3,000 meters, more or less. So, and this is actually our last experience, last day in the Alps. This is the peak-to-peak walk. Very interesting because is the first of this kind that was built in the world. Is for sure another highlight.
It's absolutely stunning. And then we also do a lot in the mountains, and it looks like this is another spot within the mountains, and we are experiencing yet more food in diverse locations. And going through some beautiful hikes. Can you tell me a little bit about this hike and how long guests can expect to be hiking for?
This is day one and already jumping into a fairy tale. Beautiful place. After a short walk, and actually also visiting some beautiful caves, but that's a surprise. We go to the Asia Inn. You can see here in the picture. Is magical, beautiful view. And this is a very special place for National Geographic. One of the place to see in a lifetime. You will understand why when we get there.
Perfect. It looks stunning. And then, so not only are we taking a little bit higher altitude trips, but we are also experiencing wine country and then time on the water as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what wine country and the boat experience is like?
Yeah, well, this is a completely different environment. Here we change totally and we jump into the most Mediterranean place in Switzerland, the Geneva Lake, and its Riviera, especially. Our base there will be Montreux, famous for its jazz music and its beauties. Famous to be an escape destination for many famous people like Charlie Chaplin, Freddie Mercury, Lord Byron. And this picture was taken in the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Les Vaux, and is very, 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 very special. It's a beautiful place, and here we will hear the Swiss people talking in French.
Oh, fantastic. I do love that about traveling around Switzerland. You have so many different languages that are spoken. Luckily, pretty much everyone knows English, but it is always exciting to get to hear different languages being spoken. And then we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we do have some experience on the water. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and chat about our boat experience as well before we start talking about the wildlife that we can encounter.
Yes, in Lake Geneva, we will experience one of these jewels. These are original century-old paddle steamer boat. We will travel first class there, and we will have a very nice trip on Lake Geneva, trying to spot some beauties of the lake. So I'm talking about especially some beautiful birds we might spot there. Beautiful ride. Yeah, you will enjoy that for sure. Is perfect to enjoying the warmest part of Switzerland.
Excellent. I absolutely love the diversity on this trip, from going into the high alpine environments, looking at stunning, this beautiful Alps, to the wineries, to Lake Geneva. It's really a diverse trip. But we are natural habitat adventures, and though Switzerland offers absolutely stunning natural scenic beauty, there are animals that we do have the ability to see. So before we take some time and go into questions, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about the different types of animals that we could expect to see on this trip, and if you could tell us a little bit about them. So tell us about this cute little guy.
Well, this is the beautiful chamois. In general, during the trip, we will be able to observe various typical, mostly alpine animals, and of course, some beautiful plants as well, flowers especially. The chamois, for example, is one of the king of the Alps, is one of the most iconic animal in Europe as well, together with the ibex is a climbing champ, running up vertical rock walls of more than 3,000 feet in less than 15 minutes. We want for sure to show you them.
Excellent. These little guys are adorable. And then the roe deer.
Oh, beautiful mammal. Oh, beautiful. We might be lucky to spot them, especially on the valleys. This is a beautiful couple during breeding season. Being the male solitary, he lives alone mostly during the rest of the year. So nice pick.
And then the marmot.
The alpine marmot, so funny, beautiful animal. They love young and tender plants over any other kind. Here was the end of August, and of course we found them very healthy and fat, while they try to eat as much they can before the winter hibernation. And marmot is also connected to another alpine beauty, being the favorite prey of the golden eagle that, of course, we want to show you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, well, not only wild animal, but also important and interesting domestic breeds. This is near the Matterhorn, near Zermatt, and these are Valet blackneck goat. This breed is also protected, and I think no more than 4,000 or 5,000 animals live in the whole continent now.
It's amazing how well they blend into their surroundings. So we're lucky enough to hopefully see a lot of these animals on the ground, but as you were talking, there are quite a bit of bird life as well as that we can expect to see. So I'll go through a few of those photos, and you can tell us a little bit about those birds, and then we'll get into some questions.
Wow, yeah, this was amazing. We see here, this was taken while hiking the Mountain View Trail in Muren. Beautiful hike. This is a golden eagle flying next to an harrier while is attacked by a raven. So a truly beautiful moment. Amazing, amazing.
Excellent. And then our bearded vulture.
Well, this is for me the true jewel of our trip. The biggest emotion, probably. Of course, we must to be good and patient enough to spot them, but we'll try our best to find you the bearded vulture, the king of the Alps, almost extinct, and now present again, thanks to amazing breeding and reintroduction program. This is going to be a gift for our eyes and our soul. We're going to try hard to spot them.
They're absolutely beautiful birds. Well, Andrea, thank you so much. I know we have a little bit of time left, and I'll be scrolling through some of these photos, but I do know that there are quite a few questions that everyone has been asking, and I hope that we were able to get to a bunch of them. But Colby, if you are up for throwing some more questions our way, I think that we are ready for them.
Yeah, thanks to you both. That was very thorough. So far, I think we've done a great job here of understanding the trip better. Before we start the Q&A, I would like to remind everyone that you can submit your own questions via the questions field that's in your control panel. So with that said, let's get into it a little bit. We've had a lot of questions about the acclimatization process and altitude. Can you speak to that a little bit for us, Andrea?
Yeah, sure. Good question. It's gonna be fine because most of our accommodation are already at 6,000 feet. So we're gonna get used to the altitude in Switzerland since day one. And this means our body is gonna get used step by step, slowly, and in general we never had any problem connected to it. But it's very helpful and very important to keep hydrated. So have some more water than usual, to eat properly, having especially a nice breakfast in the morning, and to sleep well, a good amount of hours.
Okay, very good. And do people need to be considering taking any type of altitude medication before they show up or during their trip?
Well, usually, up there, but in general, we always choose for the natural way. But of course, if it can help, please feel free to bring some medication that could be helpful for sure. But these normal things, these easy things like keeping hydrating, eating well, sleeping well, they are going to be very helpful and probably more than enough. But yeah, sure, if something hang out, yeah, let's go.
And I will suggest that if anyone has previously experienced sensitivity to altitude and has chatted with their physician on that, to continue before coming out to Switzerland, speaking with your physician and going with their recommendation as well.
Okay, very good, thanks. Question about money. What amount of Swiss francs should people bring?
Well, if the guest wants to fix that, let's say, problem at the beginning without changing money here or there, let's say that probably a couple of hundreds to start would be more than enough. And in some places, of course, not in smaller towns, but in some places, we saw that it's possible even to pay with other currencies like euros, dollars. But if you want to have some francs, I would say that 200-300 is gonna be good.
And most locations do take credit card, right, Andrea?
Right.
Okay, very good. How about waterproofness? You mentioned that it can be rainy sometimes up in the mountains, particularly we might get an afternoon shower. It's not uncommon. Do people need waterproof boots? Do they need rain covers for their backpacks? What do you recommend for rain?
Yeah, as we said, the weather can change very quickly. So I will bring for sure a very nice rain jacket, at least a Gore-Tex one, and a nice cover for our backpack. Enough. Just few things, but good quality.
Okay, we can stick with the water theme then. There's been a lot of flooding recently in Northern Europe. Folks are asking if that will impact the Switzerland's trip. My understanding is that this area is not being impacted. Is that correct?
Yeah, no problem at all. That's something sad, and yeah, it's kind of shocking. But that's a part of Germany very far away from our area. That's like 12 hours away, maybe 800-900 kilometers from Switzerland. Is no problem for us at all.
Okay, that actually covers all of the questions that I've received in here today. At least the things that you hadn't spoke to already. So how about with that, we'll conclude today's Q&A. If people do have additional questions regarding this trip, the best way to get your questions answered is to reach out to your adventure specialist at our main office. And at the end of the presentation here, Renata, I think, has a slide that has that number. You can always find it on our website, nathab.com. With that, I'd like to hand it back to the two of you for closing comments. Andrea, would you like to start us off?
Yes, thank you. What can I say? I'm truly happy to go out there again. And yeah, I can't wait to start with the first trip. I hope to see you there all happy and ready to enjoy the Alps. And meanwhile, stay safe, and yeah, let's go.
Thanks, Andrea. And to everyone who has signed up, we are so excited to see you out this upcoming summer. Switzerland is absolutely a place where that you expect to see in your dreams. It's a wonderful itinerary, beautiful location, amazing people. We're excited for you to be venturing out with us, and those who are who might not have signed up or who are interested, we hope that you consider Switzerland in the future. Thank you so much, Andrea, for taking the time to walk through Switzerland with me, and Colby, thank you so much for hosting a wonderful webinar.
Thank you all. Thanks the guests. Thank you, Renata. Thank you, Colby. Yeah, can't wait to go. Thanks again.
Okay, well, yes, thank you both for taking the time to present with us today. I'd also like to thank everyone who joined in to listen. Join us again on Thursday. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we don't have a daily dose, but you can join us again on Thursday. And if you want to check out the rest of this week's lineup, including finding the registration links, you can do that on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. And with that, I'll conclude